Hello, I'm Zach from the Audio Cultivation project. What we have here today is Paula, a preamp and compressor pedal I've been working on for the better part of 3.5 years. While this project initially started out to create a compressor that retains picking dynamics and your harmonics, it's evolved into something a little bit more than that. I'm not going to get into the history of it in this video, but I will go through the history of Paula and throughout its development process in the technical manual that you can find on the website. To start off, I'll go through my setup real quick. I'm playing my Tele Deluxe with pretty low output wide range humbuckers in it. That's going into Paula, which is then going into my high watt clone, running into a Celestian Redback. And then that is mic'd up with an E609, just a little bit off the grill, and there's no post-processing. Most of this demo, at least for this part, I'll be on the bridge pickup. So here's the basic clean tone. Alright, so let's get into Paula real quick. So to start off, Paula is essentially composed of two parts. There's the preamp and the compressor. To start off here, we'll start with just the preamp. So as you can see here, the dry knob is fully turned up, which means that there's no compressed signal going to the output. In this first section, we'll start with the headroom switch at the highest setting, which is the bottom direction on the toggle. In this setting, the clipping is bypassed, and Paula can take up to 5 volts peak-to-peak signals. This allows for line level equipment or super high output guitars, or I also like to use it on bass. So with this, you won't hear any clipping, obviously, and it'll be more of a sort of an EQ enhancer type thing. You'll hear a slight bass cut and then a little bit of mids accentuation specifically tuned for guitar. So I'll start with it off and then I'll turn it on. Alright, next we'll go to the second headroom setting and we'll back off the pre-control a little bit and adjust the volume also. In this setting, the clipping is turned on. With the pre this low, it'll still be pretty clean, but just those transients will get clipped and give a nice little compression feel to it. So let's hear that, and I'll turn up the pre-control as I go. In the lowest headroom setting, it kind of carries off where the middle metal ends. So let's go through that now. And for reference, here's the clean tone. So as you can tell, it can get pretty dirty. I'll throw it back into the middle headroom setting with just a little bit of clipping here on the pre-control. And now what we'll do is we'll turn the dry all the way down, and that will be just the compressed signal, no uncompressed signal going to the output. So now to go through the compressor controls, We'll stick the attack in the quickest position for now as we go through the offset knob. The offset knob's a little unique to Paula. It is both controlling the compression, or how much it's squishing down on your signal, and also controlling how much makeup gain there is, or how much it's amplifying the quiet signals. Here at the minimum setting, it's basically off the compressor, so you get your full range of signal, and as you turn it up, it'll squish down the louder stuff and amplify the quieter stuff. And combined with the preamp, the preamp specifically tuned to amplify harmonic content. So with that makeup gain, you can sort of get a like a fake edge of feedback kind of sound, which was sort of the goal with Paula, obviously within the limits of analog circuitry, but I think it does a pretty good job. So let's start at the minimum offset setting, and then I'll increase it as I go. So as you can hear, it'll let notes ring out for quite a while, and really adds a life to your signal that really makes it a lot more fun to play. So we'll leave it here at the highest offset setting. Currently, I have the attack at the quickest, meaning that Paula will, as nearly as, or as fast as it can, clamp down on your signal. There's a middle setting, which is somewhere in between, and then a slower setting, which really lets the initial pick attack get all the way through before Paula responds at all to your signal. This one will be maybe a little hard to capture over the demo, but I'll try my best. So here's the quickest setting. Here's the in-between setting. So as you can hear, the pick attack sort of is allowed to push in or push through a little bit more there. And then here in the slower setting, it'll be allowed to push through even more. For the rest of the demo, I'll leave it in the middle setting. And I'll also blend back in a little bit of dry signal. So now, Paula also has some useful EQ controls. We'll start with the treble knob. In the center here, there's no boost, but to the right is 10 decibels of treble boost, and to the left is 10 decibels of treble cut. I'll start in the middle and gradually increase it, go back to the middle, and then gradually decrease it. And then we'll go through the bass through toggle, which is this lower one here. At the bottom position, there is no dry bass through, or there's no dry bass going through to the output. In the middle and the top position, it allows for low pass signal to go through, bypassing the preamp and the compressor entirely, which really allows Paula to really sit well with like bass guitars or keys or really anything. It bypasses the compressor because I found that throwing bass frequencies or lower frequencies into the compressor can sometimes, I guess for lack of a better term, get it a little flustered, and you really don't get the most efficient response out of the compressor sending bass frequencies into it. By default, the middle position is a little bit of bass going through, and the higher position is a bit more. But both of these settings are user adjustable through the back plate. There's trim pots inside, but there's also holes that you can get to them from the back plate. And they're set pretty modest from me, but I mean, you can blow them well out and create sort of a fake fuzz out of this thing. So let's go through that. I'll start with no bass, go to the middle position, and then go to the higher position. And now I'll put the bass through back in the middle position to show this next part. Combined with the bass through control and the treble knob, you can really get any EQ combination that you want. Most notably is so typically Paula is a pretty mids forward pedal, but with the bass through and the treble knob, you can sort of get a Fendery scooped thing. If you'd like. So how you would do that is put the bass through in one of the higher two positions and then turn the treble up. And what this will do is kind of counteract that mid hump that Paula typically has. So here's that. And inversely, you can also get more of a tube screamer-esque type mid-hump or whatever you want to call it by turning off the bass through and actually turning down the treble knob quite a bit. And this will make sure that the mids are left intact while taking off the bass and treble frequencies. So let's hear that too. One other neat feature of Paula is that since I kind of designed it for myself as a sort of always on pedal, one thing I find slightly annoying is always having to turn on my pedals that I want always on every time I turn on my board. So by default, Paula ships with default off, but you can toggle this. So the way to toggle that is to unplug the power and hold the foot switch as you're powering it on. And then now when you go to power on Paula again, as you can see, it's default on now. And to switch it back, hold the foot switch and plug it in. So the same way. And now when you plug it in, it's default off again. Alright, so that's the basic quick run through all the controls. From here on out, I'll run through some of my favorite settings and favorite pairings with pedals, and also run it with a bass guitar. I'm not going to talk through this next part. I'll just have the the words on the screen, and the setup will mostly be the same. If it's not the same, it'll be on the screen. So let's get into it.